The real reason for anything that is going on in your life that you don't want going on in your life is not the reason you think it's going on, or you would have fixed it by now. I'm Breda Long, and I work with professionals on getting to the real reason of anything in their life. This is what my work is really about. And regardless of what is going on in your life, whether it is a small issue that you'd like to fix, or maybe you're going through a big transition, something really big is going on in your life, or maybe you just feel like something isn't right. You're just off. Something's out of alignment. Maybe you have reached all of the goals. You have the money, you have the prestige, you have the great business, you have the great kids. All of the things on paper are great, and you're still not happy. You're still not content. Regardless of what the issue is, and everybody has their issues. Everyone has their issues. What we do is we go, okay, this isn't right, or this needs to be fixed, or whatever. And we think we know what the problem is. We think that we can think our way through it. We can work our way through it. Here's what people normally do. Here's what I used to do. Okay, I have a problem. I'm going to get more knowledge. I'm going to read the next book, do the coaching program, find the guru, learn more. It's a lack of information problem. Well, maybe some of it is. Most of the time it's not. Sure, maybe you missed one little piece, but generally that's not the fix. But we go through this cycle of, okay, here's the problem. Oh, I get excited. I'm going to look for the fix. Oh, I found the new book. I found the new leader, the new coach, the new program, the new system, the new pill, whatever it is. And we get excited like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the thing. This is going to give me relief. This is going to fix the thing, or this is going to fix the other person. That doesn't work. And we get jazzed and we try it. We read it, we do the program, we implement it, whatever. And then maybe something gets better. Woohoo, we did it. We found it. Finally, after, how many programs, how many books, how many tries at this, we finally did it, right? And then it starts to slip. It starts to slip. And then we're like, shit, we can still, okay, I just need to buckle down. I just need more self-discipline. That person just needs to try harder. I just need to try harder. And so then we do that for a while. And at some point, we end up back where we started, or worse. And then the shame starts. And then oh my God, I did it again. I'm here again. I'm having the same fight with my spouse again. I've gained all the weight back again. I blew the money again. I'm working 80 hours a week again. And then we feel like something's just fundamentally wrong with us. And the more times we try and fix it, actually, the worse it gets, because now we have wasted more time, we've wasted more money, we've wasted more energy, and now we have more proof that something is just fundamentally wrong with us. Something's fundamentally wrong with me. Clearly, look at all these other people. They could get the fix with this new 1, 2, 3 system. Fix your life in a weekend system. Why didn't it work for me? And then we spiral into shame. And then the haunting of, okay, this still isn't right. I still don't want to live like this, starts in again, and we just do the same cycle. How many times have we done this cycle? How many times have you done this cycle? Or something similar to it? Here's the problem. Whatever issue you're having is a symptom of the real issue internally. We think it's in our head. We think it's an intellectual problem. If I just knew whatever. So then we try and solve it with an intellectual solution. when the problem is deeper. The problem is an emotional issue. Even if it appears to be a brain issue, even if it appears to be, let's say, a personal finance issue or a issue with our spouse, and we're like, that's not even logical what they're doing. You're right. Oh, by the way, it's not logical what you're doing either. The issue is deeper. It is an emotional issue. Every single time. Because if it was an intellectual problem, you would have solved it by now. You would have fixed it by now. You're highly intelligent. You've tried the things. You would have fixed it by now. There's something else going on internally that is not allowing that fix, which maybe it's a great fix, but there's something internally that's not allowing that to take hold, to work. So, for instance, let's say personal finance. So many people struggle with this. I used to. This isn't rocket science, okay? You don't spend more than you make. You stay out of high interest debt. You don't buy shit you don't need. You save some money. Okay, this isn't mind-blowing stuff. This is pretty simple. Like, if you talk to a 4-year-old, they could probably get it. Is that how we live? No. That sounds great. And, people can package what I just set up in, a million different ways. It pretty much comes back down to what I just said. Pretty simple. Is that what we do, though? No, we know that. We know that. That doesn't help us when we feel compelled to buy the shit we don't need. That doesn't help us when we feel compelled to take a vacation and put it on a credit card. That system goes out the door. And then we feel like shit. Because we know. So the real reason is deeper. It's not logical. The real reason is, I don't know what your real reason is. I know that you have one. But if we can start getting to the real reason why you're doing what you're doing or not doing what you're doing, or feeling the way that you feel, that's where we start to change things. That's where the fix is. Because it is impossible, this is straight from my mentor, Philip McKernan, it is impossible to address an emotional issue with an intellectual solution. Impossible. That's why the fixes don't last. That's why when you're like, oh, I want to lose some weight. Okay, again, just like the personal finance, this ain't rocket science. Stop eating the processed crap. Stop freebasing the sugar. That's it. You don't even actually really have to exercise very much. Yet, does that help you when you feel compelled to go to the store and get ice cream? No. And yeah, you can sit there and you can intellectually say, oh, sugar is addictive, and they put sugar in everything to make it addictive. Yes, all of that is true. And underlying is an emotional issue. Okay? It's actually pretty easy to get over a sugar addiction. However, when that's your emotional coping mechanism and you get in a bad emotional situation, guess what you're going right back to? Every single time. So it's so important to peel back the layers and get to what's going on underneath. What's going on underneath? It's always an emotional issue. Always. For every single one of my clients and every time with me, I promise you, it's an emotional issue. But what we do is then we back it up with logic. And we're smart people. We can rationalize anything. I knew a gal once who wanted to buy a very expensive vehicle. They had the money, they could pay cash. That wasn't the issue. Her husband was very against it. He did not think it was good for their family. It wasn't good for their finances, even though they had the money. When she talked to me about this vehicle, she completely rationalized it. She had a business in a small town. This was going to elevate her in the small town. This was going to show people that she was successful, which would bring her more business, all of which might be true. That's not the reason that she wanted that vehicle. That's not the reason that she was willing to argue with her husband for a good year about this vehicle. The real reason she wanted that vehicle was a feeling. It was that she thought it was going to give her. The feeling of, and we tell on ourselves. And she told on herself when she made a comment that no one would ever question whether she had made it as she's driving around in this vehicle. Especially when they know she paid cash for it. And she let people know she paid cash for it. Again, we tell on ourselves. She was trying to put salve on an emotional wound, a wound from not feeling successful, not feeling good enough. And she thought that car was going to do it. And the thing is, it does for a couple minutes. That feeling goes away really, really fast. I'm not saying don't get the expensive car. But part of this work is about learning how to be honest with yourself. Honest with yourself about what you're doing, why you're doing it. And understanding what's actually going on. I'll give you another example. This happened to me just this last week. I was in a little turmoil with some family stuff going on. And I was reliving some hard times. Memories were flooding back. I was physically in a space where these memories were coming back from what had happened in that space previously. And I was feeling like crap. All this stuff was just bubbling up. Stuff that I thought I had processed. Clearly I hadn't. And what was the first thing that I wanted? The first thing that I was going to was food. I wanted pizza. I wanted sweets. And I know enough now, I'm like, okay, shh. We don't say calm down to ourselves. That's not helpful generally. And I literally was able to ask myself, what do you need? What do you need? We think we need whatever our drug of choice is. What do I need? And the voice came up. It always does. I needed to cry. I literally pulled over to the side of the road and I cried. I didn't need to cry very much. I just needed to cry. And the craving for the food, gone. Gone. I didn't need the food. I needed what was actually going to solve the problem, which right then was just, I needed to cry. Now, if I would have gone and gotten the food, it would have certainly given me a little dopamine hit, but it wouldn't have solved the actual issue. It wouldn't give me what I actually needed. What I actually needed was a little cry to process the feelings. And then it's over. Versus the dopamine hit, fine, but then it goes away and you're still left with the underlying issue that wasn't processed. Oh, and then we're back to the addictive cycle. And then I want more sugar and more sugar and more sugar and more sugar. And then I don't feel like myself and my brain goes crazy and my attention span disappears and all of the things that happen when I eat too much sugar. That's just a few examples. So I'm not asking you to get to the real reason right now. I would invite you to consider that perhaps what you think is the issue really isn't the issue. And most certainly the things that you have been doing in the past to address it, how's that working? How's that working out? Especially if the issue keeps coming back over and over and over again. I guarantee you, the next book ain't gonna do it. The next program, the next 10-step system, it might help a little bit, but it's not gonna do it because it's just dealing with your brain, which that's not where the issue is. That would be like if you had a plumbing problem and you hire an electrician. Okay, that's not fixing the problem. That's just making things worse and wasting your money and your time. It's really important to find the actual problem, which is what scares people, because people are so afraid of their emotions. There is nothing to be afraid of here. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. You're not going to lose your mind. You're not going to have a nervous breakdown. You might pull over to the side of the road and have a 10-second cry. Okay. But for today, I would invite you just to consider the possibility. I'm not even asking you to agree or buy off on anything. Just consider the possibility that whatever issues you're having, even if it's just, I'm not completely happy in my life. Something's off here. Okay. Just the possibility that the answer is not up here. It's deeper. It's deeper. You're not going to solve it looking in the wrong place. So that is really what this work is about, the real reason. And for those who want to go deeper, go in the link to my monthly introductory workshop on the real reason, the second Saturday of every month. And if not, that's fine. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and watching the video. And I hope you got something out of it. And we'll see you next time. Take care.